7 managers who were sacked by the same club twice. Steve McClaren. The former England manager first took over at Derby County back in 2013 and guided them to the playoff final in his first season, where they unfortunately lost 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers, courtesy of a Bobby Zamora strike. The following season, McClaren had Derby up at the top of the championship yet again, until the wheels fell off in February and the Rams failed to even make the playoffs, resulting in the Wally with the Brolly getting the sack. After a disastrous spell with Newcastle, McClaren returned to Derby, tasked with fixing the mess that was Nigel Pearson's spell as manager. With Derby 10th in the table, McClaren was sacked yet again by Mel Morris. Jose Mourinho. He may be the special one, but not special enough to avoid the sack at Chelsea not once but twice. His first spell at Stamford Bridge ended in 2007 despite winning 2 Premier League titles, with Roman Abramovich pulling the trigger after a shaky start of the season. Mourinho would return to Chelsea in 2013 after impressive spells with Inter Milan and Real Madrid. Despite winning another Premier League in 2015, Mourinho would be sacked for the second time by Roman Abramovich, just 7 months after claiming a 3rd league title. Billy Davies. First sacked in 2011 after failing to achieve promotion to the Premier League, Davies returned to the City Ground in 2013. With Forest 2 points off the playoffs following a run of 8 games without a win, including a 5-0 defeat to rivals Derby, Davies was shown the door for a second time. While his second spell was pretty disastrous, it has nothing on the state Forest are in now, with the former European champions now not even in with a sniff of promotion as they slide down the championship. Alan Smith. Despite reaching 2 cup semi-finals, Smith was sacked by Crystal Palace in 1995 following the club's relegation from the Premier League, despite recording a record 48 points, with 4 teams going down rather than the traditional 3. Smith returned to Palace in 2000, yet again replacing Steve Coppell. And yet again, Smith reached a cup semi-final, but with the Eagles on the brink of another relegation, was sacked by new chairman Simon Jordan and would not work in football for another 8 years. Tony Pulis. The man who guided Stoke to the Premier League and solidified them in the top flight was actually sacked by the Potters in 2005, following disagreements with the club's Icelandic owners. The baseball cap-wearing boss returned in 2006 with the club under new ownership. Pulis got Stoke promoted to the Premier League in 2008 and they remained there due to his work. Pulis left the club again in 2013, being replaced by Mark Hughes as Stoke looked to go in a different direction. Neil Warnock. The second man on this list to have 2 spells with Crystal Palace, Warnock's first spell at Selhurst Park was certainly more fruitful than his second. With Palace going into administration and being docked 10 points in 2010, Warnock was let go. He would return in August 2014 when Tony Pulis walked out, but would be sacked just after Christmas with Palace in the bottom 3. And finally we have Brian McDermott. Having guided Reading to the Premier League in 2012, the club only lasted 1 season in the top flight and McDermott was relieved of his duties. He would return to the Medeski in 2015 but would only last 6 months before being sacked again. This isn't the only time this has happened to McDermott though, with the former midfielder suffering the same fate at Leeds, sort of. Appointed in 2013 after Neil Warnock left Ellen Road, McDermott would become a victim of Massimo Cellino's reign of terror. The Italian took Leeds over in early 2014 and would sack McDermott on January 31st. However, the club directors attempted to reinstate the manager, claiming Cellino did not yet have the authority to dismiss McDermott. The man with a face like a Twitter egg returned to his role as manager on February 3rd, but Cellino finally got his wish at the end of the season, sacking McDermott on May 30th, 2014. So those are our 7 managers who have been sacked by the same club twice. Let us know of any more in the comments below and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.